Good day, viewers. This is TechMag TV News. My name is Stephanie Truter, and these are the news headlines. Major drops in voter numbers. Chamisa CCC says Zimbabwe is shut for business. Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe says bank lending ban is temporary. Zim dollar eases by $7 to $27 to average 173.27 to the US dollar. Zimbabwe freezes registrations of new NGOs. And now, in our top story, the number of registered voters as of April the 30th has dropped by 10,448 compared to the 2018 figures, a trend analysis said that was disturbing. According to the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, Zimbabwe's total voter population currently stands at 5,685,258 compared to the 5,695,706 in 2018. Females constitute 54% of the registered vote and males 46%. ZEC spokesperson Jasper Mangwana, in an interview with Newsday yesterday, attributed the decline of the removal of deceased voters from the roll. In January, ZEC triggered a storm after it announced plans to remove 35,085 names of deceased voters off the voters' roll, hardly 2 months after saying it had identified 22,000 deceased voters on the roll. Critics accused ZEC of cooking the figures ahead of the 2023 elections. Recently, ZEC said it registered 110 new voters in a voter registration blitz, which ran from the 11th of April to the 30th. And now in our other news headlines, opposition Citizens Coalition for Change party yesterday accused President Emmerson Mnangagwa of shutting off the country to businesses through chaotic anti-economic measures. Addressing a press conference in Harare yesterday, CCC spokesperson Fadzai Mahere said the cocktail of measures announced by Mnangagwa on Saturday had caused a bloodbath in business corridors. Mnangagwa on Saturday directed banks to stop lending, among other measures aimed at controlling the galloping exchange rate and arresting the continued fall of the local currency. The stabilization measures have attracted widespread criticism from the business and industry, with legal experts saying there was legal nullity. The Zimbabwe National Chamber of Commerce has also shredded Mnangagwa's economic stabilization methods as unworkable. Zimbabwe's freeze on bank lending is a temporary measure which is meant to contain inflation and stabilize its economy, Central Bank Governor John Mnangagwa told television on Tuesday. President Emmerson Mnangagwa on Saturday ordered the suspension with immediate effect, saying the move was meant to stop speculation against the Zimbabwean dollar, which had been rapidly devalued on a thriving black market. Zimbabwe's inflation has started to rise again, with year-on-year inflation at 96% in April, up from the 61% at the beginning of the year, mainly due to a rapidly weakening local currency. Analysts from Bank ABC, the local unit of Pan-African Financial Group, Atlas Mara, said in a research note that the lending freeze threatens the survival of the country's banks. The Bank ABC note said that the freeze could lead to shortages of goods, further price increases, and job losses. Now, in our other top stories, the Zimbabwe dollar today eased by $7.27 to average 173 to the United States dollar, more than $100 less than the interbank rate of 277. On a parallel market, the Zimbabwean dollar ranges from 360 to 240 to the greenback, while offers on the foreign exchange market range from 165 to 240. A total of 26.8 million was disbursed today, with the bulk of the money going to 365 large firms, which got 23 million. President Emmerson Mnangagwa on the weekend ordered the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe to clear all auction areas within 14 days and said the central bank should only auction money it has. He also froze all lending by banks. The government has frozen the registration of private voluntary organizations and trusts, stoking fears that the President Emmerson Mnangagwa's administration has begun a clampdown on non-governmental organizations, closing the democratic space even before the passing of the POV Amendment Bill. Mnangagwa's regime is pushing for a POV Amendment Bill and accuses non-governmental organizations of pushing for political agendas and regime change, hence the push to have them shut out. Multiple sources told the New Hawks in separate interviews this week that attempts to register PVOs and trusts have been thwarted by officials citing orders from above as reason. The unofficial freeze comes at a time the government is pushing for the passing of the POV bill, with pro-democracy activists saying they are worried that the state is clamping down on democratic space ahead of the crunch of the 2023 general election. Mnangagwa is afraid the POVs will play a key part ahead of the polls, hence the need to silence them. But the push has invited a backlash from the local and international communities that have described it as bad for democracy. Zimbabwe is also said to lose close to 1 billion from the PVOs who have countless projects in the country. In a run-up to the 26 March by-elections, which the opposition Citizens Coalition for Change won comfortably, President Emmerson Mnangagwa threatened to suspend the operations of all the non-profit organizations, even those keeping the country from plunging into a hunger crisis. 2 months on, new PVO registrants are already feeling the heat of government threats and the imminent bill. Banning non-profit organizations is a tactic Robert Mugabe used in 2008 when he felt most vulnerable at the ballot box. He accused foreign aid agencies of bribing people with food to vote for the opposition. After he won the election, he lifted the ban on the aid groups. And now in business news, Mubaiwa named as Standard Chartered Zimbabwe CEO. Standard Chartered Zimbabwe has announced its new CEO, Mubaiwa, after the dismissal of Ralph Muchungwa on allegations of misconduct. Muchungwa was suspended on allegations of abuse of a foreign currency auction ran by the central bank, as well as improperly authorizing renovations at the bank's building. The bank said the appointment of Mubaiwa during the time the Standard Chartered is exiting Zimbabwe and other markets is critical in ensuring a smooth transition of the process. Stan Chart's local unit is the oldest financial institute in Zimbabwe, founded in 1982 in a tent in Bulawayo 2 years after an expenditure backed by Cecil John Rhodes set up a presence in the country. Stan Chart now has 390 employees in the country, with its head office in Harare. After 130 years in the country, Stan Chart last week announced it is leaving Zimbabwe, among other countries, which includes Angola, Cameroon, Gambia, Jordan, Lebanon, Sierra Leone, and also its retail banking units in Tanzania and Ivory Coast. And now, in our regional news, South Africa has reported more than 50% cases of COVID-19 that have been reported in the past 24 hours. A new wave of the coronavirus, driven by 2 new Omicron subvariants in South Africa, have led to more than 50% increase in infections in the past 24 hours. According to the official figures released on Thursday today, the National Institute for Communicable Diseases counted 9,757 new cases of COVID-19 in the country, 50% more than the 6,170 new cases counted the day before on Wednesday. 64 new deaths were also reported. More than a quarter of the people tested had a positive result, the highest rate in recorded months. COVID-19 has also claimed 7 lives in the last 2 days. The Center for Epidemic Response and Innovation warned late April that South Africa, the country officially the most affected by COVID-19 on the continent, has entered a new wave of pandemic. The country of nearly 60 million people, where less than 55% of the adult population is fully vaccinated, has officially recorded more than 3.8 million cases and over 100,000 deaths. The 2 new Omicron subvariants, whose virulence has yet to be determined, are causing the new wave of COVID-19 pandemic in South Africa, according to the World Health Organization. In our other regional news, Global Coalition to Defeat ISIS says it will renew its efforts to fight extremist groups in Africa. The Global Coalition to Defeat the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria vowed to pursue their fight against jihadist groups in Africa and in the Middle East. The meeting brought together over 60 partners and was held in Marrakesh on Wednesday, the 11th of May. The coalition was created in 2014 and gathers 84 states and international organizers. Based on figures from the US Bureau of Counterterrorism, it revealed that in Sahel region, the number of terrorist attacks had increased by 43% between 2008 and 2021. The United States says it wants to spend nearly $120 million in new aid to sub-Saharan Africa to impede, arrest, prosecute, and convict terrorists. And now in international news, Finland and Sweden are set to announce stance on their NATO membership. Leaders in Sweden and Finland are set to announce their positions on joining NATO this week, as the war in Ukraine continues to have unintended consequences for Russia by potentially pushing 2 more of its neighbors to the transatlantic alliance. The Scandinavian countries have long held neutral statuses when it comes to European conflict. Finland became a neutral country after the Second World War, while Sweden had resisted military alliances long before that. Yet fears that Russia could do to other non-NATO countries what it has done to Ukraine has sparked a rapid shift in public opinion and is both countries, of which Finland shares an 830-mile land border with Russia. Both could be on the cusp of joining NATO, with decisions from their leaders expected this week. NATO Secretary Jens Stoltenberg has publicly said that the Nordic countries are welcome to join the alliance. Today, Finnish President Sauli Niinisto will announce his stance on joining NATO, followed by Finnish Prime Minister Sanna Marin on May the 14th. Sweden's ruling party will announce its position on May the 15th, and Finland's parliament is expected to debate the issue and vote later today. And now, in our technology news, education bundle for e-learning is unveiled by NetOne. Zimbabwe's second largest telecommunications company, NetOne, has unveiled the education bundle for e-learning services. NetOne Chief Operating Officer Mr. Jeremiah Munembe had a lot to say as he interacted with students at Kandani High School last week during the unveiling of the education data bundle. Speaking during the official unveiling of this bundle at Kandani High School in concession, NetOne Chief Operating Officer Mr. Jeremiah Munembe said, with a step towards bridging the digital gaps in schools. The telecommunications company, in partnership with the local firm LeapTech, unveiled the new education data bundle to promote the use of e-learning services. The unveiling of the bundle was accompanied by several capacitation programs introduced as military measures to issues of affordability that are stalking schools, especially those with learners drawn from low-income backgrounds. This has been TechMag TV News. Thank you for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe as we keep bringing you more top stories. We'll see you next time.